Well, good midday, good midday, good midday to you one and all. Again, a marvelous day. Sun is shining, um, moderately warm, may not be as warm as we would like for it to be, but moderately warm. Um, a tremendous day. We have the Memorial Day weekend coming up, which is an opportunity. I saw something posted on Facebook that said Memorial Day was not for picnics and gatherings, but to remember those who have sacrificed their lives for our country. And so I said, yeah, that is so true, but it's also an opportunity for family to come together and to be together and to uh, just have that time with one another. And true, we do need to remember those. Linda, Kathy, Tammy, thank you. Della, Nancy, Minister Sarah, Ayana, how y'all doing? And so, with that being said, Denise, Carolyn, and so with that being said, we uh, thank them for the ultimate sacrifice of their lives for the sake of the freedoms that we are still fighting for. That's an amazing thing. Land of the free, home of the brave, but we still have to brave racism and sexism and all of that. But unfortunately, it's what this country was founded on. Minister Fay, Chaplain Hearns, and so I think about that. Jemison, bless you. I think about that. How God has afforded so many opportunities for us to breathe. Linda, bless you. Okay. Now this runs in the family. Timothy, bless you for being here. Good midday to you, one and all. And it's just an amazing time. And we have to learn to appreciate that. Um, Vernice, bless you. And that's important. Good midday to all of you. All of you, good midday. Bless the name of the Lord for the opportunities of being together one more time. So please share, please share, please share. That would be tremendous if you would do so. Cora, you never answered my message yesterday. I was like, okay, she treat me like a freckle-faced stepchild now. Okay. Clay, Elder Clay, thank you so much for being here. Thea, bless your sweet potato soul. We're so grateful for you, one and all. So please share, please share. Please share, please share, please share, please share, please share, please share. Thank you. Thank you. I see you. I see you as you are sharing and doing what needs to be done. And we appreciate that so much. We want to get this word out to as many people as we possibly can as we continue to be what God would have us to be. Good midday, James. Thank you so much for letting us know that our presentation is up to snuff the way it should be. I appreciate the media ministry. I'm telling you, they are a fabulous group of people. And I'm grateful to God that they are here at the Union Church. Doe, holding it down. Are you holding it down? I do ask that you would keep the family of Bishop Begeese in prayer. There's going to be a home going celebration for him tomorrow. There's a viewing tonight. I think it's 6 to 8. And I can't even remember what time the celebration of life is for him. Okay. Um, that's right. Lisa, Christine. And so I, well, what do I want to say? No, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to keep that one to myself. But here's what you have to also recognize is that we have allowed a lot of time to go by without appreciation. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm not talking about patting people on the back. I'm not talking about telling everybody that a boy, all of that. I'm talking about, should there not be a moment when on a consistent basis, especially in the morning, that we tell the Lord how much we appreciate him? I want us to think about that. I'm going to go into Matthew 25. You know where I'm going to be at, Matthew 25. I left my notebook and everything at home, but I do know. Yeah, Bishop McGee's. Okay, we're going to keep the Garrett family in prayer. Everything's going to be at Mount Calvary. And Bishop McGee's was a walking Bible. And he would quote so much scripture. I was like, my God. The Lord has called him home. He survived so many illnesses. But in God's own time, he calls and he calls. And again, I want us to think about something. Yes, he was. I want us to think about something. I think many times we don't tell the Lord thank you because we're not where we want to be, or we may not have what we want. But I dare you to take a hospital visit. I dare you to take a nursing home visit. And it will change your perspective. It should create a sense of gratitude. Cecile, bless you. It should, Pastor Jordan, how you doing, sir? It should. My anniversary was a blessing, and I pray that yours was as well. Yeah, as he said, but God. And all I want to say is, as we go into this Memorial Day weekend, let's just tell the Lord, thank you. Well, I'm getting ready to get back into it. Matthew 25, I started at the 14th verse. You remember clearly that in the midst of this, the reason that I find this to be such a powerful passage is the fact that there's so many nuggets of truth that are in there. Hey, Katrina, Elder James Mansell, thank you so much for being here. There's all these nuggets in here that I think many times we just look over. He gave 1, 5, 1, 2, 1, 1 according to their ability. Remember, and I don't want to be redundant and go over this over and over again. He gave no instructions, but because they were his servants, because they know him, because they have spent valuable time with him, they should have known his expectation. My question to you, do you actually know what the Lord expects from you? Ooh. And I'm not talking about what you do once a week. I'm talking about on a daily basis, because we got to look at this. You got to look at this text. The text says, the text is so powerful because Charlotte, bless you. Carletta, bless your heart for being here. Listen, he gave them that. 2 were busy. Look at what the text says. Okay. It says in verse 16, then he that received 5 talents went and traded with them and made another 5. And the one with 2 did the same thing, got 2 more. The one with 1 had an attitude. So after a long period of time, and I think that's something that we need to be grateful for, because God is long suffering with us. And I don't think many of us actually know what that means. Good midday, Gladys. I don't really think we can wrap our minds around the level of tolerance that God has for us that he may not have had for any other particular period of time because of the bloodshed of Jesus Christ. So the text says that he went a long way away, and the servants came and accounted with him. And the one that received the 5 talents delivered 5 more, said, Lord, you delivered me 5 talents. Look, I have gained 5 more talents beside them. The Lord said, well done. Y'all got to catch this. Well done. And see, we want to hear well done, but have we done anything well? LMA dear, I want us to think about this. Have we slipshotted God? Have we minimized our efforts? Do we give what we feel like, and when we don't, we like? But every day, irregardless of our attitude, God gives us new mercies and grace. Rhonda, bless you for being here. Bless you for being here. Thank you. I gotta deal with this because there's so much that God gives us, and how much do we act? Look what he says. He says, well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a few things. I'm going to make you ruler over many things. See, this is the litmus test for greatness in the kingdom. If you are trifling and lazy and full of excuses, okay, you would do. Remember, I talked about this even yesterday. You know, the Lord may place somebody in your spirit. I mean, it happened to me this morning. I text the person. I say, hey, just checking up on you, seeing how you were doing. And they were like, well, I'm holding on right now. Sometimes your intervention at the appropriate time can change someone's attitude about life. Because the truth of the matter is, has there not been a moment in your life when somebody showed up right at that point that you said, I can't take anymore? So he says, good and faithful. He says, because you have been faithful over a few, I'm going to make you ruler over. See, you ain't going to rule over nothing if you haven't. Hey, Pee-wee, if you haven't been faithful over where God has asked you to initially be faithful. So he did what he needed to do. And so here comes the one. He says, enter into now the one that received 2 talents came, Lord, you delivered to me 2 talents. And look, I've gained 2 more talents beside them. The Lord said to him, well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many. Enter into the joy of the Lord. That's a powerful statement. Because to be found faithful may not always be joyful. There may be some moments of trial, trauma. You got to remember, they did not gain these additional 5 talents overnight. When you look at the first one, it said, and he traded, which means what? Which means what? Which means he had to work. And there was disappointment in the work. There was disillusion in the work. There was some moments when the work didn't look like it was going to pay off. Because if you know anything, Trinette, bless you, dear. If you know anything about the stock market or anything like that, it's up and down. We all are spastic right now. I won't even look at my stuff because I know much of it has tanked out. But I also am wise enough to understand that what goes down will also go back up. But you have to have the tenacity, the talent, and the patience to be able to go through those moments, those crazy moments of vicissitudes when you're not really sure what's going on, but you are sure that you will come out on top. See, the way you think has a lot to do with your success. If the owner trusted you enough with 5, you at least ought to be faithful in trying to bring back to him more than what you started out with. Good midday, Lynn. How you doing? The one with 2 came along and did the same thing. He says, guess what? I'm proud of you. Now, I don't compare you to the one who has 10. I compare you to what I believe I created and invested in you to be. That's why I gave you 2 and you brought back 2 more. But in verse 24, then the one who received the 1 talent came. Lord, I knew you are a hard man, reaping where you had not sown and gathering where you had not scattered seed. And I was afraid and went and hid your talent in the ground. Look, there you have what is yours. Look at that. Look at this. And I'm trying not to get to the next verse because the next verse is powerful, but you got to look at what he's look. Can I ask a question? And can I ask a question? What's our excuse for not doing what God has called us to do? Now, I want you to think about what I just said. I want you to think about what I just said. I did not say the excuse for functioning in a church building, because that's the one thing that we have to reprogram. I believe the pandemic was designed to get us to understand that true faithfulness to God is not predicated upon performance in a building. Did I lose y'all? Did I lose y'all? I'm trying to see if y'all still here. I'm trying to see if y'all still here. Because we, over decades, have equated faithfulness to God with functionality in a building. Okay, I just need to, because we went like dead silent there for a minute, because I want us to think about this. I want us to think about this. How much ministry goes undone because it doesn't have a spotlight, it doesn't have a microphone, it doesn't have a stage, and it doesn't have an audience. Can I let that marinate for just a moment? How many people that you have relationships with that you come up with excuses for not ministering to them? How many times, and I share this story all the time, on vacation and still ministering. Don't want to, don't feel like it. Hey, Debbie, don't want to listen because I'm on vacation, but the Lord will send destitute and desperate people your way for a 5-minute conversation of relief that will give them what they need to press on through another day. This guy says, I know you. Now, can I take a little bit more time today? I know you. Now, you got to remember something. First of all, you're his servant, so you should know him. And obviously, the knowledge of the other 2 motivated them to do something. But if you really know the master, why don't you act like you know? Can I ask another question? Do you act like you know him? What do I mean by that? I am not talking about among the saints. The sinners know that you know him. Oh, the people on your job know that you know him. The people in the marketplace, in the grocery store, in the mall, just because of your disposition, and your disposition reflects that there's a relationship between you and him. Do you know him? He said, you gave me the 1 talent. I wasn't real happy with that. And because I knew you were a hard man, because you did stuff and you did it and you did it and you did it. And you gathered where you hadn't even put any seed. You hadn't had no investment in anything. And I was afraid. How you going to be afraid of the person who trusted you? How are you going to be afraid of the person who gives you another chance? Anybody out there ever mess up real bad? Anybody out there ever made a complete debacle out of something? Anybody out there ever just tow it up from the flow up? And yet still God's grace and mercy gives you another opportunity, and then you sit on God like, well, I was afraid. I was afraid. I was afraid of you. How you gonna be afraid of the person who loves you and cares for you and protects you and guides you? So here's what I did. I was afraid. I was afraid of a challenge. I was afraid of failure. I was afraid that you would be disappointed with me. If I were disappointed with you, I would have never given you the one talent to give you an opportunity to redeem yourself. Did I lose? I know. Oh. And he comes back with excuses. He didn't come back with one excuse, okay? Pastor Tatum, he didn't come back with one excuse. He came back with several. First of all, he said, I know you. One excuse. You're a hard man. Second excuse. You reap where you haven't sown. Third excuse. Gather where you haven't given seed. Fourth excuse. Fifth excuse, I was afraid. How many excuses are we still giving the Lord that we won't even pick up a telephone and say, listen, the Lord laid you on my heart? We won't even go out of our way to do anything for anybody, but we sure want the master to go out of here. I thought about that today. I really did. I thought about that. I thought about how many times I failed and he still gave me another opportunity. I think about all the time the missteps in my life, and he still ordered my steps. I'm trying to get you to understand. And what happens is when you understand it's the goodness of the Lord that leads to repentance, the goodness of the Lord. And I want us to think about that, because Minister Sarah, that's a powerful thing that you're saying. You're afraid. How many of us have failed and we're afraid that we'll disappoint God because we failed, as if God didn't know we would fail, and as if God would still not give us another opportunity in the midst of our failure to be successful. You're okay, Debbie. You're okay. How many excuses do we have? So guess what he says? Guess what he says? Guess what he says? But the Lord answered and said to him, you wicked and lazy servant. Why is he wicked? Because he's a liar. He has had so many excuses in the midst of so many opportunities. He said, you are wicked, and he says, you're lazy. I'm getting ready to ask. I'm getting ready to ask. How lazy are you? Yes. How lazy are you? How complacent are you that when God provides an opening, an opportunity, you sit on it because you have excuses? But when you need the master, listen, he calls him wicked and lazy. He said, you know who I am. You know that I reap where I haven't sown and gather where I haven't scattered seed. Look at what he says. He said, the least thing you could have did was deposit the money with the bankers, and at my coming, I would have received back my own interest. Look at what he's saying. What God, okay, I'm getting ready to shout. What God assigns you has a reward, but the reward will not come if there's no effort. He said, if you didn't want to go out and trade, the least thing you could have did was open a savings account, put my money in there, because I was gone long enough to get interest. And look at what he says. Look at what he says. Look at what he says. Because it's my money. It's not yours. It's my money. Do you understand that whatever God gives you to do, none of it belongs to you? It is his. Do you know that your talent is his? Do you know that your gift is his? Do you know that your life is his? Do you know that your functionality is his? Y'all quiet again. Y'all quiet again. Y'all quiet again. I want us to think about this. Which one are we? Are we the one that with 5? Are we the one with 2? Are we the one with 1 with excuses? He said you could have at least, if you didn't want to go into the market and barter and do whatever, you could have at least taken it to the bank. You could have at least opened an account with interest. And at least when I got back, I could have got some interest on my money because it wasn't yours anyway. I trusted you with what belongs to me. I'm getting ready to ask another question. I'm getting ready to ask another question. I'm getting ready to ask another question. And I know y'all didn't want this on no Friday, but here it is. Can God trust you? Can God trust you? We say we trust him. Can God trust you? He said, look at what happened. Look what happens. Therefore, take the 1 talent from him and give it to the one who has 10. Faithful over a few, ruler over many. Faithful over a few, ruler over many. Faithful over a few, ruler over many. Here's for to everyone who has, more will be given, and he will have abundance. But from him who does not have, even what he has will be taken away. I don't know about anybody else. And I done ran over time. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I got to get out of here. Has God been too good to you for you not to be good to him? Can I say it again? Has God been too good to you for you not to be good to him? And cast the unprofitable servant into outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth, which means what? There comes a point when God says, enough is enough. So here's my challenge over the weekend during the holiday, while you barbecuing and cooking and all the other stuff that you're doing. Remember somebody. Text somebody. Call somebody. Pray for somebody. Intercede for somebody. Take the spirit of selfishness and put it in the closet. Lock the door and put on the garment of concern. Because the same way God is concerned about us, we should be concerned about the least of these. Listen, I love y'all. I know y'all ain't feeling me right now, but I got to deal with what I got to deal with, because out of all that God has done for me, I don't want him to say, depart from me. I don't want him to say that you are wicked and you're lazy. I don't want him to say that. Listen, I got to go. You have a fantastic day in the Lord, a fantastic weekend. And we are believing that God's going to bless you like you've never been blessed before, but he can't bless those who are not blessable. May God bless you. May he keep you is our prayer.